And we are live. Good afternoon, everybody. So thanks for joining us today, and welcome to our first Q&A live stream. We have got a program of these coming up where we're going to cover a number of different topics for the key sort of live stream content. They will be published on YouTube, but attending the live shows is always preferred and recommended, because that way we can interact with you, and you can put the comments in the chat, and we can take your questions as we go. I have got with me today Howard Cox, so if I just cut over to Howard and he can give him an intro. Over to you, Howard.
Excellent. Good afternoon, everyone. Great to see everyone, and obviously the opportunity to show you some new features and a bit more about online sharing on StockBook. So yeah, great to be here.
Thanks, Howard. Yeah, so for those of you that don't know me, I'm Chris Stott. I am the Group Managing Director, responsible for SalesMaster, and set up SalesMaster some time ago. We've had a pretty exciting number of years shaping the product into a software platform for the automotive industry. So exciting times of digital transformation going on in that respect. And Howard is our head of sales. So Howard's been with us. How long have you been with us, Howard?
Nearly coming up to 5 years actually in May.
Fantastic.
So,
yeah. So great to have Howard on board. I'm sure most of you have seen Howard out and about when we could go to the dealership. So so today, if you could bring any questions about StockBook, sort of powering online sales, managing new and used stock, anything really automotive software related to StockBook and master inventory, that's our key offering. So we'd like to sort of take any questions on that. I will be able to bring Howard. I can bring you in actually as a split screen. Let's just do that now, because that's better. You can see us both on the screen at the same time. So Howard will be able to take some questions on the product. We'll do a bit of a show and tell and walk through. We've got some really useful new features that the guys in our product team have been working on, particularly over the last, well, it feels like a long time over the lockdown months, but over the recent months, being able to equip our retailer customers with tools to get their vehicles in front of consumers and get the stock online, be it on your own websites or online marketplaces, just to maximise that channel and exposure while the showrooms have been closed. So I mentioned the session being interactive. We do have the YouTube chat. It's just popped up on the screen there, welcoming you to our first stream. That is going to be our mechanism for you to be able to interact with us, as I said. So Annette's keeping an eye on that. So any questions that come into there, we'll put them on the screen and then use that as a way to take that topic and talk through whatever the questions and features are that come up. So yeah, look forward to our first one. In fact, you could drop us a question or a comment in the chat just to let us know where you're watching from. Be good to see who's out there. We've got, I think, 35 viewers at the moment, so good to see. Thank you for everyone that's joined us. So, but if you put a comment in there so we can see where you're from, that'd be fab. And obviously, don't forget to give us a like on the session, and also subscribe to our channel. We've got a number of things planned, as I said, with the YouTube content coming up. We've got some pretty cool merchandise and things now, so we'll be doing some bits with that. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll keep you posted with all that. Okay, so without further ado, I think let's probably kick off. Well, I suppose, Howard, before we get into the product demo, if you can just tell us about some of the features that we've been helping the retailer customers trade during this period. What's been kind of the most popular subjects we've used?
I think absolutely the premise of this video really, this our first live YouTube video is around online sharing and the abilities to bulk update a number of fields within SalesMaster, within StockBook, to use inside the application, but also push out into our media partners, which has grown considerably over this period since really March, so nearly coming up to a year actually. So that's been our biggest enhancement and development over this period, which has really helped our dealers and our partners.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
good stuff. I think there's
Hopefully this
been
will cover
a lot of a lot of investment into integrations and partnerships to try and provide that connected end-to-end service. So some of the stuff we'll show today actually will cover that. So the images and the videos and the integrations to the web providers, being able to bulk update stock, those kind of features have been pretty helpful to pull all this stuff together. We've had our first comment. So Jamie Buchanan. So Jamie's a long-standing friend and original SalesMaster employee. So Jamie helped me set up SalesMaster in the first place. So thanks for joining in, Jamie. Jamie's now at Vanarama. So good to hear from you, and welcome to the live stream. Okay, so let's just try and take on a product demo. So if I just cut back to me, need to jig around a little bit here just because we'll change it back. So you're not on the split screen anymore, Howard. We'll just switch back to the full setup. So what we've got here in the product demo is a demo environment for StockBook. StockBook, for I'm sure most of you know, it's a powerful online inventory tool that allows you to see all of your stock in one place. So whether it's new vehicles, used vehicles, demonstrators, remarketing stock, the whole collection is visible in here. So this has got, I think it's about 20,000 vehicles, and if you scroll down, it's just going to show more and more of that stock. This is all demonstration stock, so it's not real. This is just for demo purposes, so it means we can test and demonstrate some of the new features without obviously affecting the real vehicles. This isn't our production environment, it's a demo environment. So and the search, obviously, for those that haven't seen, it's very simple to use. So it's just a case of typing the vehicle you're looking for. So in that case, a BMW 320d, and if I'm looking for one in blue, it's narrowing down the list. And you can do things like remove sold vehicles. That would normally be set by permissions for the user. So, but in this case, I've just logged in as a sales manager, so I've got access to see everything. And then you can interact and turn on the options that are on that, so you can get kind of granular information of the vehicle and how they're built or being built in the factory. It's not just stock vehicles, as in physical cars that are in showrooms on site or in storage. These are vehicles that are being produced in the pipeline on factory order, etc. So, and we track all of the statuses through their build cycle until they get into this country. So very simple to navigate, very simple to, it doesn't need any training for getting users up and running. But the sessions that we wanted to show you today are more how to get some of the additional features out of StockBook, interacting with the data. So column chooser allows you to select which columns of data you want in that list view. Smart searching with our advanced tools, and also some bulk updating features to be able to add these particular attributes that are going to help you publish that stock online. Obviously, used cars have been on websites for a long time. You've been able to get, all of the dealer websites include used vehicle inventory, but new vehicles have been particularly challenging to get the right consumer-friendly data in front of the customer on your website or on an online marketplace. So that's what we can spend a bit of time showing you today. So I think the first comment on that would be to take, if I just customize this view slightly on the list view, I'm going to open up column chooser, and that will allow me to see the columns I've got selected. So in this case, these are new cars. It's all cars now. So let's just limit that back to new cars. So there's 16,358 new cars. I don't need that mileage column now, or really the stock type column. So I could just remove those by dragging them out like that. But I could bring in some more useful data, such as the order number. So you can do a quick search in the browser for that. So I'm going to look for order number and drag it up. And I'm also going to look for days in stock, just to see how long that vehicle is in stock, or how long it's been on a stock plan. And then you can interact with the list using the sort like you would on a spreadsheet. So I could sort by stock age, for instance. So it gave me the oldest vehicle at the top of the list. We can store these values as well behind the scenes. So if you didn't want to have that column visible on this list view, but you still wanted the oldest car to be at the top of the page, we can predetermine that in the background. So it's possible for us to now take that DIS column out, but the cars will remain in that order, so you've got the oldest vehicle at the top of the list. So we usually do that when we set up a new account and configure that with the product team. So if I now wanted to interact with those results, you can see this one, I've got an image on that vehicle. So obviously there's not many vehicles in our demo environment with images, but we have uploaded a few. So this particular Jaguar E-Pace has got an image on the car. So if I go into that, you can see in the Photos tab, you can see the image of the car here, which there's probably a separate view on. We created those with the Audis, didn't we, Howard? I think some new Audis with images. So again, new cars are particularly challenging to have images on because they're often, not on physical sites, or they're being prepared or coming through on ships and things. So, but if I just look at this environment, you'll be able to see how we've done that with multiple images on a vehicle. So something like that, where you can see, and also videos as well. So videos is popular for adding, obviously, vehicle. So it's possible to have like unlimited number of images on the vehicles. I think some of those add over sort of 35, something like that, 40 to meet the manufacturer requirements. So we can put as many as you want to meet your manufacturer standard, and then they would be simply collected and streamlined to send to the various services. So whoever you use for your image and video content, we can integrate with that. So multiple image providers. So if you've got, I think they vary by different franchises. So if you've got people that want to specify a certain provider, they can take the images of the vehicles, but behind the scenes with our API and our integration, we would join those together with our stock in StockBook, regardless of the image provider, and provide one single feed through to the consumer of that data. So either the website provider or the online marketplace. Just come back to our split screen. So Howard, on the image and video integration, how have people, taken to that, being able to have images and video now on obviously we've had it on used cars for some time, but having it available on new cars, how's that gone with our users?
Well, it's been fantastic from a user perspective within the dealers, really, to be able to obviously bring that image in or video in directly from one of the third parties, the storage centers of the imaging. But we also now have the ability to share those vehicles out of SalesMaster as well through our own API. And to use those the images and the videos within the application, you can, where you are on that Jaguar, you can move the images around into whatever sequence you want them to be in as well.
Got you.
So you can interact with it once you've got those images in there. You've got the ability to manage them inside the application. And then, of course, what we're going to go on to shortly is sharing data outside of StockBook onto the platforms, onto the media platforms. You can do that in whatever sequence you require.
Excellent.
To multi sources.
And that
it's been great.
And that I suppose the fact that you can integrate with all, most of the popular image providers, but also you can upload images. If you didn't have an image provider, you could actually get the images up into SalesMaster still.
Yeah, there's a lot of our dealer groups that do that directly into SalesMaster. So loading up multiple images is very really easy inside the application, and the same as the video as well. Dropping a URL straight into it, and that's it. It's been a real good enhancement to the application to have more and more of everything coming into one place for us.
Definitely, but obviously for scale, it's best to have the integration, because then we can take a large data set of images and videos that you've got in an industrialized way of how you would deal with that in your standardized process, and we can just maximize it by joining it in and putting it directly into SalesMaster. But it isn't like a prerequisite to have that. You can get images in if you wanted to just add a few images on certain vehicles in StockBook.
Mm.
Cool. So we've had a looks like got another comment there from just we have indeed, yeah. So oh no, that's Jamie still. So we've had Paul Bennett. So Paul says it's heartening to familiarise myself again with StockBook, an elegant and intuitive solution that I believe is a must-have for OEMs and their franchise partners. Well, thank you very much, Paul. That's good to good to hear, and good to hear from you as well. So I hope you're well. Yeah, I mean, we just thought the purpose of these streams, especially now we can't kind of get out and about as much to see everyone. This would be a way of sharing some of the features that I'm sure many of you have used day in, day out, but perhaps some new bits that you haven't seen, or also, but for people that haven't yet got SalesMaster, they will be able to see how we can help in your business. We deal with a number of different channels for stock. So the retailer channel, obviously in the dealer networks, we've got fleet solutions that are used for handling more of a corporate and kind of company car fleet focus. And we've also got several OEM manufacturer schemes as well, where there's a use case for SalesMaster to manage that inventory. So, and now sort of perhaps also moving into some of the other spaces, such as the leasing companies and that wider context. So where anybody wants to manage a collection of inventory and share that stock across a network of people and sites and outlets, there's usually a use case for StockBook to be applied. So no, good to hear from you, Paul, and thanks for getting in touch. So let's perhaps move on to some of the. I mean, Howard, did you want to take us through anything on StockBook in particular? So that you've perhaps been showing recently. Yeah,
I suppose from my perspective, if 1 second,
no
and then I'll just
it's just me again on the screen now, so you can switch over.
Yeah. So hopefully that can be seen now, and that's coming across okay. That's excellent. Okay, so I'm in the same environment that Chris was using there to do a bit of the demonstration. So I'm just going to look for a different brand on this case. So I'm just going to look for the Volkswagens. I'm going to minus the solds again. And I'm going to narrow it down onto the stock type that is just the new cars as well. So we're just looking at new for this example. But any of you guys that use SalesMaster will have noticed that from a management perspective, you have this little checkbox on the left-hand side. This is the way you can highlight over the top of these selected vehicles. So we could go down a little bit further and just have a look at some Golfs and just narrow it down a bit. And maybe we'll go down. We'll keep going down a bit deeper. And all I'm doing is I'm just typing in what I'm looking for. So if we can select all of those vehicles that are in our view. So we could select all of the 47 that I had on my available, or I could just select a few of those. But what you'll notice is when I do add the tick in the box, the view of the data. Sorry, am I breaking up?
No, you're fine. I just turned on the picture-in-picture, but I took over your screen, so there's just a big picture of me there, which wasn't intentional. I can't see you actually. So if you want to turn yours, that's it. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, there you go. You can see me now. Nice one. So it looked like you were talking out of sync. So you can see I can select some of these vehicles. I can select all of them in one go. But what you will notice on the right-hand side of the screen now, where the little tabs were, where Chris was navigating through column chooser or the ability to view the options, we've got some new selections. So we won't dive too much into all of these, but you'll see, we've got bulk updating where we can go in. Actually, we will have a quick look at that. This is where those selected vehicles that I've got there, those 3 selected vehicles, I can put something straight on top of that. So I could do a tension grabber. I could send it on an offer price to various different channels, and it will do it all on bulk. So it will do it on all 3 of those vehicles in one go. So I can add an attention.
Those can be configurables in that drop down, I think, can't they? So I think we've got some example ones in there, but we can, as and when by specification and different things and different providers we work with, we can add that functionality into that. So yeah, it makes it quite easy to customize.
And then Yeah, and share them straight across. And then very similar, so we can add tags to those vehicles. So if we wanted to highlight some key information within our stock book for everybody that has visibility, to be able to see that as well. But these are more the new features that we now have with on SalesMaster that are coming slowly but surely. They're now being released to the market. We've got a couple of our customers that are using these on a trial basis, but we're moments away, days away from having it available for everyone. But this gives you the ability to either manage pricing. So if I just click on that one, what you'll see is that we've now got a box that will appear with the recommended retail price. That would pull in from various different sources, and we do put a little bit of a health warning on that, just to say, these may be inaccurate, they may be slightly out of date. So just for all the users to see that we may expose an OTR or retail price, but just to be with a health warning.
That comes from the say factory data that's often with the emission impact or the delivery costs and all the changes in the various model years and mid-model years and adjustments. That's why it's just it's always worth kind of recommending that is a guide rather than the actual transaction price. You've got different ways of doing that in your systems for actually arriving at the sale price for that vehicle. So
yeah, absolutely. And so in this case I'll just use that price, and I'll put that into my OTR. So that will add that straight into that format against still on all three of the vehicles that we selected in the background. So this will be changing all of them in one go. So all the same vehicle, and then an offer price. So whatever I want that to look like. So I could go with not being too generous. I could knock off the £654 off of that, and then I'll be able to share and select which third party I want to share that with. So you can see there's a couple of options. Just in this environment, it is just a demo environment, so we just got two options in there. But with all the other multi-channels that we do integrate with, they will be listed in here as well. And you can simply tick in the box and add them straight into it as well. And then they would just go across to the guys on the next file transfer to them. So as simple as that to do a bulk on that many vehicles. And
it doesn't matter how many you've got on that, does it? So if you had you did 3, but if you had 300 or something that you were pricing, it just runs it as a background task. So
correct, yeah. So it'll just run on the back of all of them. You can do it individually by going into the vehicle and looking more of an edit on a specific vehicle. Just simply by clicking on it, but this is us doing it as a bulk on selected vehicles that we've got all of the same.
Yeah,
as you can see here, these are all the same vehicles. So they would be at the same price. The other thing I've got here on the far right hand side is the ability to match them. This example again is cap matching, but this will give me some enhancements again. So if I click onto that, maybe before I load them onto where the sharing, onto the integration, I may want to match them to give me a bit more of the whether it be the cap price at that time.
This is useful for the onward integrations, isn't it? In terms of like if we're sending it to somebody that wants to pull some finance information together on a website, or pull more comparative information to see a used car versus a new car, there's often a prerequisite to have a cap ID of that vehicle behind the scenes, just because it's a very popular data set that's used widely in the industry. So this is our way of being able to join the factory data that's powering the SalesMaster inventory with that wider data set, which obviously has a license dependency and requirement for using the cap data set, but most businesses are using the data for that purpose in order to, and licensed accordingly, to get the data into their websites.
Yeah, absolutely. I've chose a good one here because I've only got one choice, nice. I can update those vehicles, and it will just update all 4 of those vehicles for me, much like we did when we updated the pricing. It would just do it across all 4 vehicles in that one hit. like so. So yeah, and as Chris mentioned, there is no max to how many you can do at one time. So you can match as many as you want in one go. What we do have, obviously, this if we wanted to see how many of our vehicles we have matched, you can do that simply by using the search function at the top, where we typed in what we were looking for from the Volkswagen Golf all track. Minus sold, we have added in the ability to say, actually show me all my vehicles that have either been cap matched or haven't. So all of the ones on this environment are cap matched, so that's how we generate the kind of test data. But you could say, actually, I just want to see all the vehicles that haven't been. There would obviously be none in this example, but if you wanted to have a kind of workflow of ones that you wanted to match and to get the detail on, you can simply do it that way as well. So yeah, that gives you the ability. Another new feature I was just going to show actually is grouping our vehicles as well in SalesMaster, to be able to highlight over the top of the data, to be able to give you back a highlight view of what's available.
So if you didn't want to see a
Search
list
Builder,
view, you could just see a collection rather than having to see all the individual rows. You could, more like a pivot table style view.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is we're looking at obviously the Volkswagens, Golfs at that stage. But if I just look at the VWs, I can then sort by we'll choose site in this case, and what that's doing, that's giving me as Chris said, a pivot table of data over the top. So it's counting the stock. So all the Volkswagens that are belonging to various different, these are not real sites, of course. These are just test sites. But you can see we've got the free sites included and their total number of stock that's available. But we've added some new features recently onto Column Chooser to allow us to drill down or view over that data in that way as well. So you can see here I've got cap coverage. This is quite a busy environment because it is a demo environment, so please excuse the volume. But I can navigate through that as well and bring in various different headers into that data set. So we can look at different sorts of coverage on that as well. Image coverage, offer price coverages, everything that's available in there as well to bring in.
So from a manager's view, you can basically pull that information together to monitor how you're tracking. That would be quite useful actually to go from that to the work queues as well, because they kind of go hand in hand, don't they, in terms of the providing the coverage for a manager to be able to see where you're tracking by site or brand or by stock type, but also at an operational level for kind of moving things along and getting the vehicles complete at the various statuses. So just want to show that.
Absolutely. So well, this just gives you absolute control and visibility over the top of these simply by building this report over these free sites. You can see you've got the count of the total vehicles, the percentage, but the ones we've just added in, the more recent ones, cap coverage, how many of those vehicles have been cap matched. Well, this one is quite straightforward because it's 100% because everything is cap matched here, but obviously the percentage would drop based on real-time data. Again, image coverage as well, so how many of the vehicles have got images, and then I put offer price coverage in there as well. So it just gives you a real good view of what's being shared out there, and have I got everything covered as a workflow. And the last bit on that, what I would do is I would rather than me logging into the system on a daily basis, I just want to recall this report every day and every time that I'm near the system. So I can simply go into my save views. I can create a label. So I'll say VW coverage, like so. I can share that with all my team members, or I could just simply save it from my own view. And then you can see here I got an option to be able to pin that as a tab. And if I do that, the next time I'm in the system, and every time I'm in SalesMaster, you'll see we're back to our 20,000 vehicles that both Chris and I have in this environment. but we've now got this VW coverage. And if I give that a click, you'll see it will do the run and it will add all the headers in that I put in as well. And that's fully dynamic. So as a vehicle moves within this, obviously we've put minus sold. So as a vehicle is sold from this list, it will fall out. So the numbers will drop. And as more Volkswagen stock come into this environment, the figures will grow. So
that's brilliant, Howard. No, thanks for showing us that. And I think if we, I suppose, a combination of those tools, having offer price, coverage, image coverage, cap code coverage, putting all those things together are putting us in a position where you're maximising the quality of the vehicles that you want to advertise to the consumer. So that's really good to kind of see them all side by side, I guess, because it's been quite a manual process up until now, I guess, in the dealerships to try and pull that different information together about the images, what's been priced, regardless of how you then interface with an online service such as your own website or an online marketplace.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for showing us that one, Howard. In terms of I suppose, I haven't got, just checking to see if we had any questions come in. We've had one from Simon. I don't know whether that's that's our Simon, isn't it? So Simon Guy, but let's see what he said. Simon says, what would happen if you accidentally selected some vehicles with differing spec? So I think that's when you were selecting those vehicles in the cap IDs, if you're able to get around that. Is that something that you've got experience of?
I haven't come across doing that.
Simon, you better.
I would imagine Simon.
You might have to answer that yourself, Simon.
yeah. I'd expect Simon to know the answer to that one. Yeah.
We'll leave that with
update. You'd just be able to revert those back, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I think that's when I've looked at that product. The pricing, the offer pricing in particular. If you selected the I think I know what Simon means actually now. It's about the price range, so it's differing specs. So
yes.
That's when you've got the vehicles. So yes, you would get a price range displayed. So I think when Howard selected a range of vehicles, it had vehicles from 25,000 to 34,000, for example. It would tell you there's a range of prices. So because you can use these bulk update tools in different ways. You can use them using the search to drill down into the vehicles that are all the same, and then you can bulk update them. Or you could use the price as the range. So you could say, just show me the vehicles that are priced between 28,000 and 29,000, and then use that to interact by setting the offer price as 27,000 as an example. So there's a number of ways to use those tools. Yeah, absolutely.
Shall I quickly? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Shall I quickly show you that?
Yeah. Great.
Okay. So if I just jump back on, hopefully I'm there.
You are.
But you can see, excellent. You can see my screen. Okay. But if you selected the first 3 vehicles, just as an example, and then went straight to match those pricing. So you selected just some random 3 vehicles, and you miscalculated one. What you'll notice is that now, when I bring that in, it gives me a bit more of a flag. Obviously, when we did the Golfs, we chose all the same all tracks, but in this case, I brought in 3 vehicles that may slightly differ. And what you'll notice is that we have a new message that comes up that says you've selected vehicles that have different retail prices. They may not be identical. It's again a great flag to be able to say, to notify all our users of that, of they doing it, but it also gives you that price range.
Got you.
So you can see, before I do anything further, I can see I've probably made a slight error because I'm nearly £9,000 out. Yeah. So
Sorry.
So
thanks for demonstrating that, Howard. And sorry, I did just. Apologies, that was me messing up the screen transition, so it looked like it was duplicated a bit there on the display. But we corrected that. We've got somebody from Pool Audi. Pool Audi are saying, is there any capability to bulk set discount by model as a percentage of price? I know that's something that's certainly been requested a few times in the and feeding into the product team. What's the latest position on kind of that point, Howard?
It's definitely something that we are looking at. Obviously, where we want to be careful with this one is the percentage tends to be driven off of just the basic price rather than the full OTR price. So it's something that we're working through. There has been some comments recently about actually a value off of the OTR. So that's something that would probably be a slightly easier implementation for us to be able to do in bulk.
And I guess this thing is whenever you're looking at doing as a percentage by a model or an identifier, it's also where it ties into that standardization of factory data. So some of the work we're doing with those cap matching tools would allow us to have a collection of vehicles, of the same vehicles, easily categorized. So I guess that might, moving forward, make things easier to do percentage of price. But at the moment, as you say, it's only something that you can do by setting an offer price rather than the bulk range of discounts. Okay, but thanks for the question and for joining in. Yeah, Simon says it's 10 points to him for that, apparently. So thanks, Simon.
Simon gets the points. Yeah. Well, I like the Paul Wowdy question actually, because the product team will be watching this. So any questions like that we like.
Yeah, absolutely.
We like to see. So get to the right people.
And I think some of the combination of those features with grouping, with the new attributes we've got, particularly on new car inventory, and getting those online are going to be, well, we know they're being utilised quite a lot. We're tracking the number of vehicles that are being matched, and we're tracking the number of vehicles that have got images and videos in the system, and it's rising significantly percentage-wise every week. It's something Steve, our CTO, communicates to the business every week, and we're sort of tracking all of those new metrics just to see that's been amplified, I suppose, by the shift or the acceleration in digital retailing, and that link back. One of the link back to the showroom. One of the important aspects of using SalesMaster is tying the two things up together, because for our customers that are using SalesMaster as their kind of inventory tool in the business, as soon as you start moving into online retailing, either as in fully as it's only obviously one of the main channels we've got now with click and collect and delivery, but how the two join together in that omni-channel world, it's essential the two are kept in sync. So it's quite exciting, some of the other features we've got coming. I know with some of the integrations we've got with the website providers on how we can join up that end-to-end transaction. So if somebody's interacting with the car on the website, it could write back and update a status into SalesMaster to change it so that everybody in the showroom or virtual showroom as it is at the moment would have visibility that somebody was on that car. So for users that are familiar with SalesMaster on under negotiation and sales statuses like that, it's something that the product team are working towards tighter integrations with the end-to-end online sales channels to be able to keep those two things in sync. Because obviously, in order to deliver this digital retailing, it has to still be in sync with the way that's handling, either in the traditional sense of people coming into the showroom or people inquiring online about those cars and phoning up about them now. So be good to see how that progresses too. Okay, so we're just about to the time that we thought that we'd said about 40 minutes for this. It's now 3:40. So unless there's any more questions coming in on the chat, I think we'll call it a day. But it's been brilliant to get some comments and also to show you some of the new stuff that we've got in StockBook. As I said, if you can subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. We'd like to get as many subscribers on this as possible so that we can determine the use case for it, and that will drive more content to come in and how frequently we can run these sessions. So say for any of you that are watching at the moment, or if you're watching this back, as I say, it will be listed on YouTube on our channel afterwards, so you'll be able to watch it back at any time. But it would be great for you to subscribe just so that we can keep in touch with new shows as they go out. Any comments from you, Howard, before we wrap up?
No, just thank you very much for everyone that's joined. And hope to see everyone soon again.
Yeah, yes, it'd be great to see you all in person when we can, and I hope you're all staying safe out there. But we will absolutely be in touch and run these again when we can. So thank you, thanks Paul, thanks Howard, Chris, all good stuff. So yeah, nice to have you on the stream. So thank you very much, everybody. Gemma's put a comment on there. So Gemma says, "Great work, guys." So thanks, Gemma. Great to hear from you. And yeah, I hope you all stay safe. We look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thanks very much. Bye now.
Thank you.